Welcome, everyone, to the course called Mastery of Self-Love. This is real talk. This is not silly self-help talks that normal, average, everyday people don't know how to obtain or don't understand or whatever the case may be. This is me and you talking real, okay? Now, the first thing that I want you to think about is that if you ever want to break free of the programming and break free of this thing that we call the matrix, you have to think for yourself, right? Well, that begins with loving yourself and trusting your intuition, trusting that bullshit radar that I talk about all the time. Listen to the way you feel and the way your body is responding to the situations and the people around you. Listen to the way you feel with the societal norms. Especially here in America, society teaches us a whole lot of things that really force us to not honor the self or the human body. For example, burping, fact of life. It's something everybody does. Everybody has to do. It's necessary. But they teach us that it's bad manners. So then when we burp, we feel bad. But it's a natural thing that we need to do. The same goes for passing gas or having to go take a number 2, right? We're taught to be embarrassed, ashamed of who we are at our very core as a human being. We're taught to be ashamed and embarrassed and apologize and try to be different. That's bullshit, guys. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's crap. We have to embrace who we are. We're taught not to have pride, not to have ego. Hell, now they're trying to teach you not to be competitive. Everybody gets a trophy or a ribbon for participation. But let's think about this logically. Pride and ego are important. Striving to be competitive or to become better at something is necessary. Just as necessary as failure and messing up, because that's how we learn. That's how we gauge who we are and where we want to be. And we should not apologize for that. We should own it. We should love ourselves for it. We should respect ourselves for it. We should respect everyone for it. But it starts with us. Even belief in the supernatural. Children naturally are connected to spirit and the spirit world. They have imaginary friends. They have ghosts that they see and talk to. They believe in magic. They see the elementals in the air and the fire and the water and the earth. They believe in fairies. They walk with joy in their heart, right? You did too once, and you were taught not to. So it began when you were a little child, this programming of how to not love thyself, not honor thyself, not respect thyself. We have to undo the programming, guys. We have to get back to being real and logical in a sensible sort of way. Thinking for ourselves. Truly thinking for ourselves. What's best for me? What makes me feel good and comfortable and satisfied and content and joyful There's nothing wrong with feeling any of those things. They're not negative things, they're good things. The society is teaching us that we should be ashamed to want something, or to want more, or to be proud of who we are, or to want to be that overachiever or the best at something. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you do the hard work to be the best at something, you deserve that title. And you should be proud. Yes, you should be humble, and you shouldn't be egotistical and narcissistic. That's logical, guys. That's completely logical. Love you first. Fitting in is another thing that society teaches us about. We're supposed to all just fit in. Fit into the box, fit into the rules, fit into the line, the single file line. What's wrong with being an individual? What's wrong with standing out and being different? Nothing. But society teaches us that there are lots of things wrong with it. So again, society teaches us not to love ourselves. Because if we feel different, if we think different, if we want something different, then we're considered the outcast. Immediately that negative energy is put on you by you, because the programming was allowed. The programming was influenced. The programming was pushed on you or forced in some manner. We have to deprogram and reprogram to love ourselves and treat our body and our soul as the temple and as we would treat God, with the utmost respect and sacredness. Come back home to who you are. Love yourself. We're taught to not ask questions, to just obey. We're taught what products and medicines to use. We're not allowed to think outside the box for what we think is best for us when it comes to a medical procedure or the way to heal ourselves and medicate ourselves. We're just told to trust doctors with our self-care and how to raise our kids. We're not even allowed to trust our own judgment with our children anymore. Love yourself. Be proud of who you are. Stand tall on that and be the person you want to be, the parent you want to be, the child, the aunt, the daughter, the son, the teacher, everything. Be you. Embrace you. Love you. First and foremost, love you. I want you to also forgive you. Forgive yourself for your mistakes. Forgive yourself for self-doubting. Forgive yourself for not doing whatever. Because it isn't your fault that you're in this programming and that you now don't know how to love yourself. It's not anyone's fault. We were all kind of looped into this. So you need to learn to forgive yourself just as much as you would forgive others. When I say to you, love thyself, what I really mean by that is I want you to fall in love with yourself. Really, truly Love who you are, flaws and all. Be able to admit, yes, I do this, and yes, I tend to do that, and that's just who I am. Now, if it makes you feel bad in your core for who you are in that action, then change it. Don't make excuses for it. If something really resonates with you as a need for change, then change it. But ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is it because of the programming? Is it because of someone else's opinion? Or is it truly your conviction and your belief that needs to change or feels like you need to change something? Do it for you. Do it because of you. And really love yourself. You deserve that. You deserve to give yourself the utmost respect and the most patience and compassion and pampering once in a while. It's perfectly okay for all of us to give someone else a reward or a gift or a treat, depending on age brackets and situations. It's perfectly okay for us to do that. It's perfectly okay for us to forgive other people for things that they've done. But we don't forgive ourselves. And we don't give ourselves rewards and treats. And if we do, we feel guilty about it. We feel selfish. We feel egotistical. It's nonsense. You deserve to be treated too. And you should enjoy those treats, not feel bad about them. You should enjoy all of your choices and be proud of all of them. I really hope that people understand really what it means to master self-love. It's not a simple task. It takes a lot of work. You have to keep reminding yourself, oh, look, I just did that again. I got to quit doing that. That's not loving me. That's not honoring me. One of those ways that you can honor you is through clear boundaries. Ask yourself, how does this situation make me feel? How does this person make me feel? And why? Do I deserve what they're saying to me? Do I deserve this opinion? Do I deserve this treatment? And if you really fully know that you don't deserve it, put your clear boundaries up there and use your throat chakra and speak your mind. Speak your conviction. And if you're in situations and have certain people in your circle who don't respect your boundaries, who don't respect you, who don't think about your interests too on a fair level, then do something about it. Remove yourself from that situation. Whether you're walking away from a conversation that doesn't suit you, or you're leaving a relationship that's very negative and damaging to your soul. Too many people stay in relationships for umpteen different excuses, and none of them is for self. None of those excuses are because you love you first. Belief systems are often challenged, and by belief systems, I don't necessarily mean religion or politics or anything like that at all. I'm talking about your values, your morals, your convictions as a belief system. Whenever we're talking with someone, having a conversation, or we're put into any kind of situation where we feel like maybe our beliefs, our convictions, our values and morals may be frowned upon or challenged, we tend to sway. We tend to compromise for the sake of not arguing, for the sake of not causing conflict or controversy. But are you honoring yourself if you do that? Are you truly doing what's best for you in that moment if you choose that compromise? And I'm not saying stand up to people 24/7. We pick and choose our battles wisely. But it doesn't have to be a battle to stand up for who you are and be proud of it. And that's my point. If you carry yourself with that confidence and that love for yourself, in knowing that you are a good person and you do have good morals and values, and that shouldn't be challenged by anyone, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to try to cross that sword, because they will see you as someone of high integrity and high moral and high value, that values the self and the self's opinions. So it doesn't have to be a battle to simply stand firm on what you believe in. A lot of us are also taught in society not to trust our intuition or our inner voice or that gut instinct. And that is your innate, God-given first sense, the one that no one ever recognizes as important anymore. Your gut instinct, your intuition, is never ever going to lead you wrong, because it is looking out for the best interest and the highest good of self. So if you want to truly master self-love, you should truly master trusting and listening to the intuition that God gave you the ability to discern with and to survive with and to flourish with. Because you can flourish if you begin with true self-love. So many beautiful things can come your way when you walk in joy and walk in pride and walk in confidence. And you have that knowing about you that brings you fulfillment, that brings you contentment in a real profound sense of the word. Not passive aggressive contentment, true contentment. I want you to ask yourself, hypothetically speaking, if you were to believe that you are God in a human form, how would you walk this earth? How would you carry yourself? How would you conduct your business and stand firm or not on your convictions and your morals and your values? Who would you be if you were God in a human form? What would that really mean to you? Would you do things differently? Would you treat yourself differently if you thought of yourself as God, incarnate in flesh? And if you're saying right now, well, yes, of course I would, then I want to say to you, why? Why? I'm a parent. I have 7 beautiful children. I would never, ever want my children to see their self as less than they see me. Ever. I'm a daughter. My parents never, ever wanted me to see them as superior to me, except in the respectful elder type of fashion. They wanted me to grow up, to be wiser, smarter, better, make less mistakes, not make the same mistakes. They wanted me to thrive better than them. I want my children to thrive and do better than me. If we don't teach our children how to love themselves, how do they do that? God has tried to give you all the tools. God has given you all the tools that you need to do just that. And Jesus tried to give you the message. Jesus tried to tell you why you should love thyself and how. And I'm not saying be some cocky, arrogant SOB and walk around like you think you're God, like you can push people around kind of stuff. I'm saying really walk in God's grace. Really carry yourself the way that you would see God to carry himself. God would love himself. He's not going to disrespect himself. And he's not going to let anyone else do it either. Why do you? See how much sense it makes when you put it in different perspective? And I just want to point out real quick, too, that Jesus did not come here to be passive aggressive and simply turn the other cheek. Jesus himself said he came here with a mighty sword to stand firm on his convictions and to strike down the opposition and not allow them to try to defeat him. All metaphors, I'm sure. But I should hope you get the gist of those metaphors. Don't allow people to strike you down, put you down, or make you feel less than or not enough. Know your worth. Know your character and walk proudly in it. Embrace it. Sit in your seat of power of who you are as an individual, because nobody on this earth is just like you. You are special and unique and rare, just like a fingerprint. You are the only one that can be you. And nobody else can tell you how to do that. Take back your life. Take back your love for yourself. And take back your control of your joy and your abundance for your highest good. Because it's a trickle-down effect. Once you start loving you, truly loving you and respecting you, everyone around you will start to do that in turn for you and for themselves, because we lead by example. People see you doing it and changing into someone else that truly respects theirself and honors theirself and loves theirself. And then all of this beautiful abundance starts coming toward you. And they're going to be like, hey, wait a minute. I want some of that. I need to know their secret. I need to understand what they're doing. And then you are now the teacher. And you can pass that knowledge and that wisdom to someone else to help them truly love their self. Because we should all love ourselves. We should all honor ourselves. We should all appreciate our individuality and everyone else's. You should forgive yourself just like you forgive others. And you should want to do better and improve upon areas where you don't feel like it's your strong suit, just as you expect of others or hope for others. I want to touch on the intuitive mind again real quick and bring up my favorite quote by Albert Einstein. The intuitive mind is our sacred gift. The logical mind, its faithful servant. Yet we've created a society that now honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And I don't know that anyone on this planet that's ever existed has put what I'm trying to get across to you in a better format, more understandably clear format than Einstein did. Because when you do not honor the sacred gift of intuition, by default, you also do not honor yourself. Because it's your intuition you're not listening to. It's your intuition that you're not respecting and that you're disconnecting from. For what? For somebody else? For something else? Because society said so? Because you don't want to make waves? Because you're a people pleaser? You need to be a me pleaser first. Bring yourself your highest joy. And I am not talking about being arrogant. I am not talking about being boastful. I am not talking about being snarky or rude or belligerent or any of those words. I'm talking about true, honest respect for yourself, dignity for yourself, boundaries for yourself. You deserve it too, just like everybody else does. Another great quote that I would like to mention is that we should be in the world, not of the world. And for me, that means to own you and be you. Yes, you're in this world where peer pressure and society rules and expectations are very heavily put upon us. But we still all need to march to the beat of our own drum. Attracting the right people into your life also begins with self-love. Because when you have self-love and then you meet someone and you don't allow those boundaries to be crossed, you don't back down from your convictions, and you stand firm and proud and tall in who you are teaching those people how to love you also, how to respect you, how to not cross your boundaries, because they see that you will not allow it. You will not bend. People will always treat you according to your own self-worth. Forgiveness of yourself and others. Let's go within for a crash course in healing that can be repeated alone at any time that you need to do more. I want you to think back as far as you need to, and remember the pain that sticks out to you the most. Find the time when you felt it greatly, and hold that space. Hold that space that's in that pain for just a moment and really feel it. Bring it forth. Bring it up to where your chest feels tight. Allow it to whelp up in you. And then out, if necessary. Cry. Cry if you need to. Release it. Let it out. If you're not a crier and you can't release that way, write it on a piece of paper and then throw it away or burn it. It's not for anyone else to read. It's yours to get rid of, not theirs. Now, after you release that, I want you to think back to a really happy memory that sticks out in your mind. Some people don't have a lot of happy memories to go back to. Try to find one. Something that brought you joy, even if it was just the thrill of being on a swing set as a child, or running through the yard, or catching a firefly. Find that happiness in your memory bank somewhere. Feel that energy. Feel that emotion. Let it whelp up in you. Let it fill your chest. Instead of releasing it, I want you to bring it forth into the forefront of your mind where that fresh wound memory is. And I want you to overlay the happy memory on top of the fresh wound memory that you've just brought up. I want you to replace the emotion there as if it didn't even exist. Replace that negative energied emotion with the positive, happy, joyful energy. And forget about that negative one altogether. Let it dissipate. Let it evaporate. Let it fall away. Come away from this little exercise with the understanding that the people in your life who have hurt you are really not that much different than you. We were all impacted by society and all of the rules and all of the lies and the veils and the stigmas and the dogmas and the division and the expectations. The majority of the people that have harmed us in our life were simply trying to learn as well. So forgive them for their place. And forgive yourself for your place in things. Because none of us have really known better. Now is the time to truly free yourself, liberate yourself, and decide that it's time to take the shackles off from the self. Let go of your pain. Let go of your excuses. Let go of your reasons. And love yourself. Honor you. Respect you. Hold your values and your morals and your boundaries sacred, as if it's sacred land that Native Americans would be buried on, or that a church would be built on. Your body is your temple. Your body is your sanctuary. Your body is your safe place. Make it so. It's not always as easy to obtain as it is to say, and I understand that. Sometimes our situations, our environment, restrict us in a lot of ways. But if you can free yourself from within, you can free yourself from without. And sometimes you have no other choice but to master self-love. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody's ever going to be there for you the way that you will. If you're doing anything that makes you feel bad or guilty, either stop doing it, stop feeling that way about yourself, or change something about it. Make a change. And if it's not something you feel like you should change, then just love you. Do you. Accept you. Don't take it personally when other people act out. Don't believe what they say about you. Ask yourself where you're at. Ask yourself, is there room for improvement? And then you decide when you're ready to improve or change something. But I also want you to be honest with yourself. Be a realist with yourself, okay? Because yes, we can be our toughest judge, but we can also lie to ourselves like there's no tomorrow. So be honest with you. Nobody's going to hear that conversation. Nobody can judge you for that. Not even God will. Matter of fact, God will give you props for being honest with yourself. God will give you props for loving yourself in the right way, coming from the right place. Don't be in denial over things that maybe you could improve upon or not inflict on other people. Sometimes other people's opinion does hold some weight. So I'm not saying that just because someone has an opinion, you should ignore it. I'm saying don't let it beat you down. We should all take constructive criticism seriously, because we can all help each other to grow if it's coming from a place of love, a place of concern. But if it's hateful, screaming, yelling allegations, or narcissistic, um, gaslighting, turn it around on you kind of stuff, then no, don't listen to it. I mean, use your logic about what you're listening to. Use your logic about what should I ask myself about? What should I look at within me to improve? Because we should all want to improve. We should all want that for ourselves, to improve, to grow, to learn. And in my opinion, we're never ever too old to learn. And we are always the student, even when we become the teacher. So leave room for improvement. Don't be closed-minded. And actually, I have another little note here somewhere that says something about that. Right. Stay open-hearted, not just open-minded. So in other words, be open-hearted for yourself, but also be open-hearted for that constructive criticism, because sometimes it is necessary. And I'm not trying to teach a class to a bunch of people to turn them into narcissists. I'm trying to teach a class to a bunch of people who don't know how to love themselves, and they put others first all the time, or a lot of the time. I'm trying to teach you to take your power back and not be the meek in order to be the humble. You can be a strong warrior and still be humble. You can be a fierce force to be reckoned with and still be kind and humble and in gratitude. I just want you to be the best possible you that you can be. And in order for you to do that, you have to love you. You have to love the skin you're in. You have to love your flaws and your accomplishments. And okay, realistically, you don't actually love your flaws, of course. But what I'm saying is, accept yourself. True acceptance. Yes, I have flaws. I'm not perfect. Some of them flaws, it might be perfectly okay to leave them as flaws. Other flaws you may want to improve upon. No one is perfect. So embrace and accept your flaws. They're part of what makes you who you are in your character, in your spirit. And we should never be ashamed or apologetic for who we are. We shouldn't feel bad. We should feel like we're enough from within, not because someone gave us validation. And sure, validation is nice, but it isn't necessary as long as you're validating yourself and being honest with yourself. All the way around, being honest. Am I being fair to me? Am I being fair to them? Be honest with you. And don't just hope for miracles. Go make them. You're an amazing, powerful being because you're a child of God. And He gave all of us the tools to create. He gave all of us the tools to heal, to be psychic, to be telepathic, to be creators of all levels of creation. So go make your miracles. Stop waiting for somebody else to do it for you. Don't feel guilty for wanting more. Don't feel guilty for being specific in what you want. No one's going to know you better than you. So if you know that there's something specific that you desire or that you want, manifest it. Wish for it. Focus on it. Put your intention into bringing it into your reality. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't feel guilty. Don't apologize. Be proud of it. Because you're loving you and you're giving you what's going to bring you your highest good and your highest joy. And within having your highest joy, it's not always just simply covering your basic needs. It can also cover your wants. It's okay to want things. Whether it's material or spiritual, emotional, physical, it's okay to want things. So stop feeling bad for that. Okay? Stop telling yourself you don't deserve it or that it's selfish. So in closing, I want to remind you, don't limit yourself by your thoughts. Focus your thoughts on what you want more of and be happy about that. Truly remember daily to ask yourself who you are for others and who you are for yourself. And be honest. Be honest. Dare yourself to dream bigger, whatever that means to you. Think of yourself like a rose. Learn to love even the thorns. And if the thorns hurt, transform them into something that won't or can't hurt you anymore. Karma does not rule you. You rule karma. We always have a choice, and we are creators. If you're ready to be finished being punished, if you're ready to be done suffering, say you're done. Make it known to the universe. Make it known to yourself. And start the next day truly loving you, respecting you, honoring you, walking your path for your journey and your soul lessons. The sooner that you realize that you rule karma, and the sooner that you realize how to master self-love, the sooner you are going to move forward in full abundance. And that's not just some cheesy one-liner. That's serious stuff. And I really hope that you take heed to that and really think it over, think it through, test it out, see how it works for you. I promise you, I speak from experience. When we learn to truly love us, ourselves, really, really beautiful, blessed things come our way. People come our way. Opportunities come our way. Walk in your faith and your trust blindly and with conviction. And if you do look back once in a while to who you used to be, only do it to remind yourself of who you need to keep being now. Don't fall back into those patterns. I want to leave you with one of my favorite short, simple daily mantras that you can say every morning or every night or every afternoon or as much as you want to. And I want you to say it with real belief and real conviction, because you deserve that. Abundance is my divine right. And I am happy, I am healthy, wealthy, and light. Abundance is my divine right. I am healthy, wealthy, and light. And when you really walk in that belief, that vibration, when you resonate that all of abundance really is your divine right because of who you are, you, just you, nobody else, just you. You do become more healthy. You do become more wealthy in all forms of the word. And you do become more light in all forms of the word, because the burdens aren't there, that heaviness isn't there, the anxiety isn't there, the self-doubt isn't there, the low self-esteem isn't there, and you've turned your light on inside of you, and you let that little light shine. When you really believe that you deserve the things that you desire and the things that are best for you, and you set those clear boundaries, and you hold your ground on who you are with confidence and dignity and pride, you're shining your light. You're shining your beacon. And the whole world sees it. And then they want to know, what do you have that they don't? And how can they have some of that? Because everybody wants to feel that light energy. Everyone wants to be joyful. Everyone wants to be at peace and happy and loved. And the secret to all of that starts with loving you. I really hope that you've learned something from this, that this has benefited you on some level, and that you will continue to remember and remind yourself daily, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Does it bring me my highest good? Is it bringing me my happiness? Is it bringing me into a comfortable energy? Does it resonate well with me? Do I feel good about this? Does it feel positive? And if it doesn't, that you do something about it. Be brave. Be strong. Be well. And love thyself. I appreciate you listening. And I leave you in the deepest gratitude and the deepest love and the deepest hope that you will love yourself the way that you deserve to be loved. Because really, honestly, only you can do that. We don't find love and joy and happiness in the outer realm. We find it in here first. And then we see it out there. It starts in here. Go within. Be honest. Truly honest with you. I love you. See you in the next course.